Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be the Toro 22-inch recycler mower part due. I want to thank my friends at ProPartsDirect.net for sending me the Kohler engine parts that I've been looking for the last 2 years. Appreciate everybody that responded to that video with the correct part number. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and break one of these open. I ordered 3 just because I go through these so often. We're going to break one open and we are going to get it installed. So bear with me one moment while I get all my tools together here on the bench and we'll get going. All right, as Mick says from Mick's channel, let's get down and dirty. Pull the bowl nut off. We've already cleaned the carburetor. It's all good to go. We just needed this gasket so it would hold fuel in the bowl. That's where we left off last week. Let's go ahead and get this assembled in here. And it is a tough little bugger. Now I'm beginning to wonder if these are the right parts, because they are super, super narrow. Let's take 2 on this. All right, sorry you missed it. I was struggling with this, and when the first time I got it on, it took me about 5 minutes to get that gasket on. But after getting it on and the thing not recording, I apologize, but that doesn't make for entertainment TV anyway. I mean, I guess there are people that like to watch other people suffer, but yeah, I don't want to be one of those people. Anyway, what I had to do was I had to spray it with a little bit of carb spray so it would swell a little bit. I then had to stretch it out because it was just too narrow. And then I got it to seat on the in the pipe after scraping out the old gas that had flown out and then stuck itself to it. It just took quite a bit to actually get that little gasket on there. Now we're going to tighten it up. That's good. Now we move on to the rest. Blows good. Stops good. Okay, so we've still got a working needle valve. Once again, we get this choke plate back into place. There we go. That is in there now. Remember last week was the shoulder bolts that I told you about, these little screws with the shoulder on them. They go into this piece because it fits inside the plastic neck of this to make sure it fits and is aligned properly every time. T20 hex. That one's in there loosely. I'll tighten it up in a second. Get this one in there. Up, loosen off. Take this one back out a little bit further. There we go. And I know my hands are in the way. I apologize. I just got a boom to hang my mount directly, my phone directly over the space that I'm working. So that should be in the next video. I should be utilizing that with a little bit of added light in the area. so that it all comes out properly and you get to see me better, at least my hands. So that carb is done. Let's go ahead and put it back on the mower. Gonna set you up over at a different angle. We'll get you there soon. All right, guys. Got my Torx driver, got my 10 mil wrench, I've got my carburetor, I've got my impact, and I've got everything else that I need, including this little washer that goes in there once that's done. Once we get to that point. So let's do it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna mount is the temperature control mechanism, the auto choke feature on this mower to the carburetor first. Because this little hook is tricky to get on there any other way or at any other time. So that's hooked in. Now we're gonna scoot our carb into place most of the way. Fit the auto choke mechanism back into place over here. Gotta loosen that bolt up, that nut. Fasten it down and then tighten it up. Okay, wrench. So that is in place, that is connected to the carb the way it's supposed to be. Now let's go ahead and get the governor rod on and the governor return spring on. There's the rod. My handy dandy, brand new, needle nose, Tecton 3-inch pliers, which I'm really happy about. They are just awesome. Spring loaded to open so that you only have to use half the force to get it there where you need it. Now that governor arm is, you don't, just a tip. Basically, you want to have the carb about halfway off the posts in order to get the governor linkage and the return spring on to this shaft. Because you have to turn the butterfly as far as it will go, and then you have to put in the governor arm. It will not go in because it has to go in at an angle. It will not go in if the carburetor is pushed all the way back up against the engine. It has to be out halfway or a full distance or before you even put it on the posts in order to be fitted properly. So, tech tip. We've got our first screw goes in the back for the little pain in the butt auto choke. Okay. Get the other screw for the other auto choke. Now the Patés, from Patés Performance, they were kind of knocking the Toro Kohler engines because of this specific carburetor model. At least Mr. Pate was. And that's okay. I think it's it's overkill. It's an overkill design. It's trying way too hard, but you got to remember this was the first try that Kohler had, from my knowledge, at a overhead push mower engine. So overhead valve push mower engine. So, you know, they wanted to exceed the build, and they did so. And that's why we're here almost 20 years later, and it's still working, and with very few missing parts or bad parts. Next thing we're going to do is attach the fuel line. With the breather housing off, we're going to put the clamp in place. Next is going to be the breather housing, PCV hose. There's that. I need to get my little spacer. Just kiss it a little bit there. Get the other two nuts on. And like I said, it's easier to do all of this without the recoil assembly on the top of the engine. It just gets in the way. You can't access anything with it there on this make and model. So it's just faster and easier to zip it off real quick. Okay. So we are done with that portion. Now we're down to just getting the recoil assembly back on, which didn't come off the way it's supposed to. We have a binding post here, here, and here. The posts came out because they were rusted to the nut. The post came out in the whole section. So I have put seafoam deep creep penetrant on here so we can try to get these zipped off while I have a vice grip attached to the back of the post. So let's see if we can't do that real quick. Actually, that's a 10 mil bolt. I'll get my 10 mil supply wrench, my drill. Go. So we'll put that one right where it needs to go. There. Set that aside. So Seafoam Deep Creep is a seafoam product that I found on Project Farm's channel. They were testing lubricants for their ability to creep into the threads of tightly rusted bolts, and it was one of the winners in the contest as far as the ability to be a penetrating lubricant. And I've used it all over the place. I've got a squeaky back door, sprayed it on there, and within one swing, the squeaks were gone. I've had the deep creep sitting on this, and Project Farm mentioned on several occasions, the penetrating lubricants are better only if you let them sit, and 24 hours should be the minimum that you let a penetrant sit before you try to go after the nut or the bolt. So if you put this on and you think I'm a liar because you stripped your bolt or your head or something like that, read the directions. It says wait for 24 hours, let it sit, let it do its magic, let it do the work, and then come back at a later time to actually get the nut off the bolt. So tips for all you out there, hopefully that will help. Really, really good product so far from everything that I've used it on, and I've used it on a Cub Cadet, I've used it on this this Toro, I've used it on a Troy-Bilt, I've got Aaron's. It just works. It works on everything. So, tip number 2. That post holds the fuel tank on the right side. I'm gonna put a little anti-seize on that one because it's rusted up pretty bad. Anti-seize and deep creep are your 2 best friends when it comes to doing this kind of work. It saves you in the future, and it saves you in the present. So be mindful of what you are doing today and how it may help you in the future. All right, next one. Wrench, drill, hood. Go. Stud with a little slime right there. That's your spacer that goes on. That's the nut that came off. Wipe this down, get that seafoam deep creep off of it. Clean it up a little bit while you're here. upside down. I was looking at them upside down. There we go. Everything fits. Okay. Get some of that on that first bolt too, since I'm here. Perfect preparation prevents piss poor performance. Just saying. Now, ask me what the torque specs are, and I'm going to tell you no lie. I don't know. Just don't go crazy. It's plastic after all. Now, magnet time. Close to donut time. There we go. All right, let's move on to trying the engine out before we actually test the oil or change the oil and blade and do all that. So give me just a few seconds here. Fill it up with a little fuel using my Toro pump gas pump. Just gonna put a little in there, see if it leaks. After all, that's the most important reason why we're here today, 1 week later, because it leaked. Literally just a little bit of gas. Because if it starts leaking, it's gonna drain every bit of that. Enough to fill the bowl, enough to come out of the bowl if it leaks. Okay, should be enough time. Let's fire it up. Second time in a row that I have a bent crankshaft or a bad mower blade, one or the other. Let's take it apart and find out which. Okay, lift it back up. Carburetor's on this side. You want to tilt it to where your carburetor is up instead of your muffler being up, or else you're going to have all kinds of fluids draining into your carburetor that you don't want in your carburetor. Got it moved over on the stand. Second stand pulled up. Okay, get the nut buster out. This is the nut buster. And yes, I know I need impact wrenches on that instead of the chrome. I've got them on order. Alright, let's see if this is the culprit. on here, I know you can't see me on the wall, we got a blade balancer, and this thing is pretty darn well balanced, almost perfect. So here we go again. I'm going to put you right here. We're going to check you for square as I rotate it around without the spark plug in, and see if the shaft is bent. So let's give that a shot real quick. That carb bowl is flowing out the carb. It's not flowing out the gasket. Half the time, when I lay it up on its side, the bowl, the bowl float is at a cockeyed angle and doesn't seat the needle in place, causing it to leak and run off. That's about half the time. Almost all the time on these. So spark plug. There we go. And half the spark plug boot is still on the bloody spark plug. How lovely is that? Nope. Need 11/16. Let us tip it back up. I'm going to set you directly underneath the mower. I'm going to pull it over a few times and see what happens. You're going to see it before me. Okay, I'm going to stop you there, and I'm going to look back at that video. Okay, so I have ruled out that the crank is bent. I think it is either the blade just partway bent, or this piece, the blade adapter. We're going to reassemble everything. Sorry I didn't have you recording while I took everything apart. But we're going to reassemble everything. We're going to try it again, see if we can't diagnose where this vibration is actually coming from. See you in a bit. Actually, why see you in a bit? Let's just do it. Anti-seize. There we go. On. Just paste back up there. Let's get these two bolts, engine mount bolts off. Just want to tighten that up, make sure it's good. Next, we will put these back on. Went ahead and sharpened and balanced the blade while I had it off. I love the All-American sharpener. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal tool. Underside is done. All right, let's try starting it up again. See if it still vibrates like crazy like it did the last time. Leaked all the gas out of it. There's still some in there. And choke plate is closed. Oh, spark plug. I am a friggin' idiot. I was wondering why it was turned over so darn easy. It's a Kohler, it turns over easy anyway, but this was like extra. Now she'll start. No bueno. Dancing around like crazy. Governor's in place, but it seemed like I was revving pretty high. I'm going to ponder on this one for a little while. Do some thinking. Try to find replacement parts for it. Get them bolted on. See you in a bit. All right, guys. Back again. I've got a donor mower this time, and we're going to see if we can pull, because this has a blown engine, we're going to see if we can pull the shaft out from underneath of this one and try to get it working for you on the other mower. See if it's a lower unit, the blade assembly is the problem that's out of whack, or because that crankshaft was straight as an arrow. So we'll check and see. Hang on, be right back. Okay, we're pumped up on the stand. Let's see if we can tip it over. Let's see what treasures this has left us. Okay, so this one definitely has a new blade. Sharp blade. I've already sharpened it once. Let me get a strap and lock down the bail. We'll turn this one over to see if it's bent. After we take out the spark plug. This one seems to be running straight. Bring out the nut buster. Gonna take that. Kohler. Get that a piece off. This one even has a new belt. I should probably pull that too. Set down the belt. Sorry, I'm not talking. Getting a little tired. Got the new mower on. I guess I could skip through all that, huh? This off. The old in with the new. Where's the key? There is the key. There's the key. Okay, well that's obviously very bad. Oh, no it's not. I didn't get it up far enough. There we go. Having donor machines is a blessing and a curse. The blessing because you got parts laying around readily available. The curse is you got parts laying around rusting and in the eyesight of everybody because I don't have a shed out back. So, gotta do it the best we can, I guess, right? See what kind of trouble we can get into now. Keep thinking on this one. Guess there's going to be a Toro Part 3. Because I really want to get this one to work. I'm not going to let it beat me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.